one, fellas. The City of Romulus Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting agenda, Wednesday, March 5th, 2025, will come to order. Stand as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Mr. Chandler?
Here.
Mr. Lloyd?
Present.
Mr. Green?
Here.
And Mr. Jones is excused tonight. And Frederick is here. Third on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
Second.
Motion to approve agenda by Mr. Chandler, seconded by Mr. Lloyd. Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Approval agenda has passed. Number 4 is approval of minutes from the Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting held back in November 6, 2024. Need a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
All righty. Motion to approve minutes from the November 6, 2024 meeting. Mr. Green?
Approve.
Mr. Lloyd?
Approved.
Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Approval of the minutes has passed. Number 5 is old business. We don't have any old business?
No old business as of
Just
now.
old people.
Easy now, Mr. Chandler. All right, we have no old business. Number 6 on the agenda is new business. We have one subject on the agenda tonight, and it is BZA 2025-001 Kotlarek side yard setback, location 38300 Tyler Road. The DP number is 80-069-99-0025-700. The request is a variance from section 3.04A, accessory buildings and structures 4A, detached accessory building setbacks of the Romulus zoning ordinance to reduce the required setback, side yard setback, from 3 feet to 16 3/4 inches. Project is carport for camper, and the petitioner, tell us about your project, please. State your name and address, and then what your project is, please.
Jeff Kotlarek, and that's my wife Sue, and my neighbor Judy. Live at 38300 Tyler Road, Romulus, Michigan.
All righty, and could you just explain your project?
Yeah, so I know why we're here, but there was some major confusion at the beginning, if you want me to explain that.
Yeah.
So, at the very beginning, we were told we didn't need an approval because it wasn't a movable object, like if it was a shed or something like that. And I said, well, I want to do the right thing, and I wanted to go get a permit. So I went to do the permit, and we had pictures. I took pictures of the camper, I took pictures that were sent to us from the company, and I brought all the pictures to the DPW building, and the young lady on the right-hand side said, fantastic, you brought pictures. Nobody ever brings pictures. She goes, you won't need to do a drawing. And I said, okay, great. So a couple days go by, and we get an email back saying, oh, you have to do a drawing. So I called back in, and I talked to Bambi, I think is her name, at the DPW building, and she says, just draw something. She says, it's just going to be for the file, no big deal, because you're not drilling in the ground, just draw something. So we just drew something. And when we measured from the fence line to where we thought the post was going to be, well, we actually measured to the side of the camper. So then when we submitted that, we got called back in, who said, the inspector came out once and said, hey, the measurements doesn't exist, it isn't correct, what is it here? So for the rep that was there, and I forget her name, whoever sent us this information, called the inspector and said, what is it supposed to be, or what is it correctly? So then I changed the number, put my initials on it, and she said, you're all set. I said, thank you very much. And then we go on vacation to Grand Rapids for the weekend, and we come home, and we get this giant yellow sticker, orange sticker on the thing. So we're just very confused on why we're requesting this and why we're here, besides maybe the law of the land. But my neighbor Judy is my next door neighbor. It's our fence line that it's adjusting to. You should have a letter from her in that packet. She has no issues with it. My neighbor across the street who isn't here has no issues with it. Matt and Sharon Raftery, who are our other neighbors, they have no issues with it. And it's up and it's beautiful. It matches the color of our house, and the cover of matches our roof. Judy loves it, and so we're just asking approval for our little carport.
Okey dokey. Is that all?
Yep.
All right, thank you. I guess we'll open up questions to the board members. We'll start with Mr. Green.
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Chandler?
I think I had a couple. Did you construct that yourself, or do you have a company come in and?
We had Jim's Amish Builders came from Indiana? Indiana and built it for us.
Okay, now is that permanently affixed to the concrete?
It is with helix bolts.
I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
Now, is that considered a permanent structure, since it's,
Yeah, there's no rat wall and it's not, no footings.
It's just anchored to the
Yeah, just-
driveway and the gravel.
I guess what I was thinking, if that's not considered a permanent structure, is it taxable? Is there any tax on it?
That's a question beyond myself.
Yeah, so that's not the,
Yeah.
I was just wondering
I
about
don't
that.
know
We
that.
already
Not
got
the
the new
purview.
assessment in the
I
middle.
mean, it's beside the point, I guess, but I was just curious. But that's a nice piece of equipment.
Yeah, and it was.
Very
I
nice.
don't wanna say cheap, but it wasn't expensive. It was $3,600
Really?
installed.
Oh, no, that's not bad at all.
Yeah,
Looks nice.
they had 3 guys show up at noon on a Thursday, whatever it was. They were there from noon to 7. Kicked it off,
Wow,
and
that's
just
great.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Very nice quality.
Yeah.
I had to
If you
go-
ever go down 94, just before Chelsea is Fletcher Road. I don't know the exit number, but if you look off to your right, there's all these little sheds, chicken coops. It's right next to Camping World
Oh, yeah.
thing there. That's Jim's Amish Builders. And those are all his displays out there. And he makes some really, really cool stuff. And then that's where we found the carport.
It's a nice one. I just wish we saw more like that in Romulus, instead of some of the
The
things.
plastic ones and the, yeah.
That's all I
do you have
have.
any further questions? No? Mr. Lloyd?
So just one question of clarity, and you can answer, but it's pertaining to, Ms. Judy. So I just want to clarify that, Ms. Fredericks, your address is 38280? Is that correct? Okay. The reason why I ask is because I know we have the letter from Ms. Judy stating that she's okay with the carport, and I just want to make sure that she's the neighbor to the exact side versus the other
Yes,
side.
she's my
So-
right next door neighbor.
Yep, that's my only question. Thank you.
The chair will take the floor now. Just a couple points of interest for everybody involved. The neighbor at 38280 is my mother.
Okay. I could have just asked you the question.
It's just a full disclosure.
Sure.
And so with that said, I have knowledge of the vicinity.
Sure.
And so the fence, the cyclone fence is not the property line. The property line is actually on the inside of the fence, I mean, the outside of the fence. So the question here is, so you submitted a plan that said 5 foot, that's the one that's drawn here, and the requirement was 3 feet. How'd we end up at 17 inches?
Because when we initially measured, which was our fault, we measured from the fence to the side of where the trailer sits.
You measure from the fence to the RV?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Okay.
And so then when the inspector came out, and again, I apologize, her name, who was helping me at the counter, she calls the inspector and says, well, what is it? And he said 17 inch, whatever the exact number was. And I said, we measured from the side of the RV, not from the side of where the post would be. And so then I said, and so she goes, just initial here, write this, and then submit it. But if you're familiar with our driveway, and you know we have that white privacy fence, it's still on that side of the white privacy fence, the post.
Right, so and just flashing back, when you moved in, do you remember the fence that was down the back, all the way to the ditch? It was what kind of fence? It was posts and like rabbit wire. I don't know
Right.
exactly what you call that. The cyclone fence went on the inside of that, and then we removed that. And I know for a fact that fence that was originally is not on the property line. So 3 foot off the fence is actually not even the 3 foot setback requirement to the property line. Fences don't make property line.
Right.
Now, with that said, it's a beautiful structure, and it's serving a great purpose, and I love how far back you put it. That's awesome. How is it anchored on the fence side to the ground?
Same thing, they just,
No, not the folks.
Well, it's in like, so,
Whatever they would use, because that's side on the ground.
That's like gravel.
yeah, like your west side is to the concrete, and the east side is,
it's like those turning, it's that, what do you call it, curly Q?
like a hurricane tide
Oh, it is
maybe?
anchored.
Yeah, like
though.
hurricane ties,
Yeah.
helifix anchors.
And how is it affixed to those?
It's just, there's a hole in the bottom of the post, zip, and right through the hole.
Okey-doke. All righty. I understand, see, it's a unique position to be in. Myself, when I seen this, I was like, well, here we go. But I understand why it's there, what it's doing. Using the fence as a property line is a common mistake a lot of people make. So I don't really see where that you can be held to that. But you're still not 3 foot off of it. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, it's not a permanent structure such as like stick-built like the garage is. It's a very unique situation we have here. It's very unique. So if we could, supposing, let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say you get your variance tonight, then it's all done. You know, you're done, you can go home and enjoy. If not, you would have to scoot it over.
Yeah.
That's a hardship, all right? It's easy to make the mistake of assuming the fence is on a property line. I mean, 1 out of 100, 100 out of 100 people do that. It's an easy thing to do. Corporations do it.
We did that on the other side with our white picket fence we had with Matt and Sharon. We finally had to hire a surveyor to come out and make sure it was on the correct.
Yes. So like, it's to your advantage that this is not a permanent structure, even though it's a very nice structure that could last 100 years. It doesn't matter. I guess that's my only comments at this point. Do you have anything else you want to add?
The only thing that I just want to add is that when we went back, because the house is in Sue's name and my name, and so we had to go back to the city for Sue to sign the paperwork. And that's when the lady said, called the inspector up and said, what is the correct feet, inches, or whatever? And he said, this is what it is. And she said, just correct it, initial it, and you're good. And so we were like, we're good.
I understand.
And that's the only part, then I said, and we come back from vacation with a not approved sign on it, and we were shocked.
Well, that's only because the inspector was doing his job correctly. If he'd have showed up and let's say it was 10 feet over from the fence, he'd have walked away.
Right.
The fact that it was under 3 foot, and he's assuming the fence too, I imagine. I'm assuming he
Right.
went with the fence also.
But I guess my point was, I thought we were done after she said just initial correct the
Right,
the numbers.
yes. I get that, I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that. Like I said, it's a very interesting situation, but it looks nice, it's beautiful. That's a step in the right direction. All right, if you don't have anything else to add,
I can add one more thing.
okay, go ahead.
So we were gonna go, we were at the camper show, and I was looking at this camper, and I'm like, this is a beautiful camper, what a beautiful camper. And my wife said, no, we're not getting a new camper, we're gonna get something to protect our camper. And that's how this whole thing came, because she wouldn't let me go in debt again. So,
Well, the worst thing in the world for a camper is to be exposed
Yeah.
to the sun.
and we tried those covers, and they rip, and they do everything, so that's the main reason this was done, because my wife is smarter than me.
So I'd also like to add from the chair that it's, and I'm speaking for myself, but I think I can catch a vibe, is when it comes to the residents, we don't like to, we like to work with the resident as much as we can. So such as an example of, like, let's say you live in a subdivision and you're on a corner lot. Everybody else has privacy fence, but you really can't. But you can if there's certain things you adhere to, but that's a hardship that they didn't create, but we want their fence the same as everybody else does. We always try to work with the resident as much as we can, because it's the heart and soul of the city.
Right.
I just wanted to be upfront about that. So with that said, do you have anything else you want to add?
We're not moving, we're gonna be Judy's neighbors forever, so.
Yep, all
We're
right.
gonna be there forever.
So I guess we can go to a vote?
So, can I propose
Yes.
one more question?
Mr. Lee.
To you, Mr. Kemp. So, one of the comments in the packet is the issuance of a building permit. Because the structure is already constructed, is there any need for any additional permits or anything of that nature?
No, so what, the way the whole thing worked out, so the permit was applied for, and then the inspector that was doing the review for it obviously needed he did turn in all the pictures and everything, but they needed the drawing and the numbers for the setbacks to look at that. So we got that, and the permit was approved, permit was issued. And on these structures, because it's not a permanent structure, but we do permit it because we want to see that it's anchored down, it's not gonna blow away. When the inspector went out to do a final inspection to close the permit, he noticed that it was less than 3 foot from the property line, and we can't, because that's not in our ordinance, we can't approve that, and that's why we're here tonight they're here tonight looking for a variance.
Understood. Okay.
Is that all, Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you want to read that into the record?
Yes. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. More clarification. This is my second meeting I've chaired. Fortunately, I had Mr. Chandler to my right. He tricked me into this position, which I appreciate. But he just reminded me I should read in the letter from the neighbor, my mother, into the record, which I'll do at this point. All right. This letter was written on 2/3/2025. It's written, "Dear Review Board, my name is Judy Fredericks. I am the neighbor of Jeff and Sue Kotlarak at 383, and this is my mother's address, 38300 Tyler Road. They informed me in advance of getting the carport installed, period. I was supportive and had no issues with it, period. I understand there is an issue with the distance it is from the fence, period. I have no problems or issues with its placement, and I like the color choice and how it looks, period. I do not have any issues with the structure. Thank you, Judy Fredericks." Signed and printed. I just wanted to read that into the record, so it's part of the public record. With that, we'll put it to a vote.
Motion, do we need a motion?
Yes, please.
Motion to approve BZA-2025-001 Kotler side yard setback variance.
A second motion.
All righty. So motion made by Mr. Lloyd, seconded by Mr. Chandler. Mr. Lloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Chair votes yes also. So congratulations. Thank you very much. Enjoy your structure, and it's the best thing you could possibly done for your camper. All righty? Thank you, guys. Yes, Jeff. Have a good evening. And thanks for, I hate to say we're jumping through the hoops, but for following the procedures. We appreciate it.
They pulled the permits, they did everything, and then they didn't wait for the inspector to come. And they filled in all of it. So the inspector called them up and said, come dig this stuff back up. And they had to come back up and dig out the corners and show that the footings were in there correctly. And I said, okay, how you doing?
That's because it was a contractor. If it had been the homeowner,
Right, no, Brad,
he might have been a little
it was
more
their
lenient.
fault.
Yeah.
They were supposed to do that. They're supposed to have the city come out and make, this is attached, now, this is attached to our house. If this wasn't correctly put in the ground, it could have been off the side of our house. So we were glad that they came out and made them dig the hole back up and do it, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I
Well,
said, this time I'm not taking your chances, I'm gonna confirm whatever he was
yep.
right.
So it's due process, and thank you for participating.
Thank you.
All right.
Good luck on your new position.
Well, it's Mr. Chandler's fault.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good night. So, second item under new business is 2025 BZA meeting dates. And looking at the meeting dates,
I can't believe that's coming ahead of us already. We already got 2 months behind us.
yeah. All right, so I need a motion on the meeting dates, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. So, Mr. Green made a motion to accept the 2025 BZA meeting dates. Mr. Lloyd second. Mr. Green?
Approve, yes.
Mr. Lloyd?
Second.
Mr.
Yes.
Chandler? Chair votes yes. Number 7 is communications, city planner status report. And I always enjoy these. Carol does a good job with them.
Yes.
Let's see.
If anybody has any questions about anything that's listed on here. I did notice that Motown Sports Group has a billboard on 94.
Yes.
I've seen that. And people have been asking me, what is that? I've been telling them a little bit, as much as I know. So do we know where the Tesla charging
Where
parking
it's,
lot's at? I mean, do we know where it's at in this process?
yes, they're close to approvals on everything. I know they're through site plan, obviously, they're just about through engineering, and they're almost to the point where they'll be pulling permits. I'm assuming that they're gonna wanna start this spring. I haven't heard of a exact date or anything, but I'm guessing we'll start seeing something on that
All right.
once the weather gets a little nicer.
Because the Sheets is looking lonely on the corner.
I know.
And I do frequent.
Busy,
that place.
yeah, so do I, so do I.
busy, I agree with that.
So with that question, the Residence Inn and Live Smart Studios that are supposed to be just to the east.
Yep.
Where are they at?
They are in process. I haven't seen construction plans yet for that, but I do know that they were in the process of finalizing and, I believe, closing up on the property with the developer. And then from that point, I'm sure all wheels will start rolling.
Okay, good. Good. I like that project.
Yeah.
It's all gonna tie in nicely.
And
together.
they also have on that development site, they do have in engineering right now, the fourth building is also in review right now. And it's in engineering and with hopes with possibly getting something going on that this year as well, so it's moving over there.
And I noticed that the Romulus self-storage on North Line Road is clicking right along.
Yep, they're constructing. I know they had a little hiccup waiting on some materials for their water. They got to go under the road for the water line, but they are constructing. They're moving forward. They're starting to put the shells of the buildings up and everything.
I know the cold weather put them in a little bit of a.
Yeah.
It held them up for a couple weeks there. Let's see here.
We received 2 site plans just this week that we're reviewing right now for the first-class self-storage and the Yono party store redevelopment as well for a fuel station and 2 tenant spaces, 2 retail spaces with it as well.
Is that the Super Y?
Super Y, that's it, Super
Yeah.
Y.
Well, it is, it's Yaldo Naziat? No, wait a minute.
Yono.
Where is that? That's on Goddard Road.
Oh, on the front, super wide.
So depending on reviews on those.
Well, it's on the front page.
It's on the front page.
Yes, the super wide convenience store gas station.
Oh, right, oh, okay.
Thank you.
So depending on reviews and everything on those, I'm assuming they'll be coming, you'll be seeing them at planning commission pretty soon.
Okey dokey. So, I guess that's all I got. Yeah, the report's always, it's very well put together and very grateful, we're grateful to have it. Let's see here, it's communication, decision planners report. I guess number 8 got lumped in with number 7 on discussion. So I do have a question. A few weeks ago, we were at a meeting for the E-Course Road Improvement Project with the
Yes.
mayor at the RAC.
Yep.
And Roberto made mention of I-94 E-Course Road interchange reconstruction. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know a ton about it. I know that that's in the discussion with this whole redevelopment and with, if they're gonna completely reconstruct that and add, I thought it wasn't the discussion about adding a ramp, so there's a ramp going both ways.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, but I don't know where that is or what kind of timeline that is, but I do know that I've heard the same about it basically probably as you have, but I don't know exactly where that is.
Okay, because that's been on the back of my mind since he mentioned it at that meeting.
Yeah.
And, 'cause that's not gonna be nice. That's not gonna be good. And, so I guess, do you have anybody else have any discussion points? No, Mr. Chandler?
Nope,
All right.
nothing at this time.
Lloyd? No. So, we can have a slight discussion on this. So, let's see here. So we didn't lose. Mr. Jones is on city council now,
Yes,
so his seat will be vacated.
yep,
He is the vice chair.
yes.
So what I have to figure out the
So-
process for electing a vice chair.
Yes, and I know the process, there will have to be, and I don't know the correct terminology for it, but you'll have to do
An election.
yeah.
We'll have to wait for a 5th member.
Yes, we'll have a full board, and then on that, we'll do a election or whatever the correct verbiage is. Carol told me, and she prepared me for this question, but it's slipping my mind, the exact verbiage of it.
Just so we're all on the same page with Carol.
Yep, absolutely.
All righty. And we're not going to drop any surprises on anybody.
Nope.
Especially, well, we're going to have a new guy, we can get him, right? So I would like to say too at this point, so Mr. Chandler, in the meanwhile, can you serve as the vice chair?
Sure,
Temporary vice chair?
Sure.
In case of emergency and such. All right, I appreciate
I
that.
can do that.
Now, I don't know that that's, I don't want to use the word legal, but the correct procedure.
Yeah.
But we do have a fallback.
Yep,
We have a
absolutely.
great fallback.
Yes.
I don't work very cheap.
You don't work. All righty. Thank you, Mr. Chandler.
No problem.
And item number 9 is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Lloyd, a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Go ahead.
Second.
Mr. Green. All righty, number 9, adjournment. Mr. Lloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.